my experience in this review is me using the Pixel 4 XL as my secondary device and my backup for almost 2 months now. Also, full disclosure, Google furnished me this device as part of the hashtag teampixel marketing campaign. So with that out of the way, let's dive into this full review. The screen is a beautiful 6.3-inch QHD Plus flexible OLED display that offers some awesome HDR support on a smooth 90 Hz refresh rate. I never thought I needed that high of a refresh rate on a smartphone until I had this device in my hand. It's not crazy bright, but is still daylight viewable in those harsh sunlight conditions when you're outside. Consumption of media on the Pixel 4 XL is a pleasant experience. If you get this device, you'll definitely want to consider forcing the 90 Hz refresh rate to happen all the time, because as it comes out of the box, it's variable and it auto adjusts. But keep in mind that your battery life will suffer significantly if you do this. I was getting 6.5 to 7 hours of screen on time with it off. And with it turned on, I struggled to get through 5 hours, maybe 5.5 hours of screen on time throughout the day. It's something I liked having on all the time, but if it were my primary device, I would definitely opt to leave it off just to extend the battery life. Along the lines of media consumption, the stereo speakers are good and will not disappoint. However, I've covered the down-firing speaker once or twice while watching videos, actually quite a few more times than that. So just keep in mind the design. I wish it was front firing like that of the older HTC devices. I feel like there's some influence here from HTC on the build of this device. I wish they would have done a little bit more with making it front facing and front firing, considering they have that little bit of room on the bottom of the bezel to give you a speaker there. It is what it is, and I would say that it's good enough and it will get the job done. On to the business end of this device. The thing that you've come to know the Pixel 4 for, the camera. The camera is as good as you have heard and can expect. Stills photography doesn't disappoint when it comes to shooting pictures, as you will get some of the best picture quality out of the Pixel 4 as any smartphone can produce today on the market. I'm going to come out and say that night sight is a better option than that of night mode on the iPhone, because the image you get is more consistently exposed across the entire image. There's not this weird type of exposure brightening and trying to analyze the image with the artificial intelligence or whatever. The Pixel 4's night mode is much better than night sight. I'm just going to say that outright. The only thing that I don't like about night sight is that you have to manually select it within the camera app. I wish the Pixel 4 would just recognize that I was taking a low light photo and enable it live like it does on iOS within the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro. I love the picture quality that this thing produces, but I hate the limiting video options it has, or the lack thereof. There's no 24p in 4K or HD, or on the front-facing camera either, as if Google decided not to offer that frame rate at all. There's no 60p in 4K, and the front-facing camera leaves so much to be desired, as it doesn't have any mode or option of 4K and lacks a lot of frame rate options. Actually, it only has 30p and you can't change it at all. Google missed the mark in the video features on this device, and it is a real shame. The Pixel 4 has a ton of sensors, and the one that I found to be the most useful is the proximity sensor that uses radar technology to give the device a way to know where you are as a person and what you plan to do with it, like if you're reaching for it. So now when I reach for the device, the phone, or the Pixel 4, is already searching for my face to validate security credentials. This is great, and having a phone know when I'm reaching for it makes accessing it just that much more easy and less of a hassle. I will say that out of the box, I had to disable the skip lock screen when it validates your face credentials, because I was missing a ton of notifications. Moving on to build quality. It is really nice. The device feels great in the hand. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. There is no creaking or flexing, giving the handset a premium feeling. One thing I would note is that the Pixel XL is a big device. Therefore, you should definitely take notice of how large and unwieldy it can become. It's definitely a two-handed device for people that have small to medium-sized hands. I'm not a fan of the XL and would much prefer a regular size Pixel 4 over the XL. But the battery life horror stories that I've read about online have me recommending the Pixel XL to people that are looking for their new Android smartphone. It's a big phone. There are no two ways about it. Google flexed its muscles and showed their power with the Recorder app, and it is freaking awesome. It can transcribe a conversation real time, making the Pixel 4 a pretty great tool selection for journalists. And hell, a student for that matter. It would have been so awesome to have when I was in college, as I would have just transcribed every lecture that I attended to help me beef up my notes and help me study for my exams and during finals. One thing to note with this, however, is that this isn't even a Pixel 4 thing anymore. The great thing now is that you can get this app on older Pixel devices. So if you do any journalism work or a student and you have a Pixel, go get it. It's on the App Store right now, and you will be glad that you did. It's really, really awesome and accurate too. In the past couple of months that I've been using the Pixel 4 XL as my secondary device, I found it to be a fantastic smartphone that gets a lot of things right. It has a really great camera for photography. It is Android by Google, which means you'll get the latest updates as soon as they're available. It has the best assistant available, Google Assistant. Squeezing to access is probably the most useful feature I never knew that I needed. Now I want it on my iPhone. I find myself squeezing my iPhone in disappointment, actually. And it is the best experience anywhere. Face Unlock is awesome and works really great and is pretty dang secure. And finally, the screen is really, really good on the Pixel 4 XL. There's no notion or anything that even reflects back to their previous instances of where their screen was having issues. The Pixel 4 has absolutely resolved those. The things that I would like to see that could possibly be better in the next version of the Pixel 4 XL, or maybe Google can work some more magic by fixing these things with a firmware update. Battery life is a huge miss on this device, especially on the smaller one from the stories that I've read. I have to preface that by saying, because that hasn't been my experience. Battery life should be better in this market where smartphones are pretty awesome in general, with battery life extending easily for one day. The storage options are lacking, considering there are only 2 options when you're building this thing. And there's no option for expandability through micro SD card. I understand Google's attempt to pushing cloud services onto users, but having a max of 128 gigabytes of storage on your flagship device without the ability to expand it isn't a good look. And 128 gigabytes isn't even that usable space because a lot of it's taken up by systems, apps, and media. Finally, video recording resolutions and frame rates are severely lacking. If you shoot video in any capacity on your smartphone, the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL is just not for you. It's not going to be a good experience, so completely discard this device as part of your evaluation if you're thinking about getting a phone that does any type of video, period. My conclusions on this device and within this review: buy the XL and avoid the regular Pixel 4 strictly off battery life. Now, I haven't had any experience off the regular Pixel 4, but I'm gonna play it safe as a reviewer and give you my recommendations based off of the horror stories that I've heard with the regular Pixel 4. Don't forget to max out the storage as well. And only buy the device if you can get it at a discounted price. I think Google may have priced themselves out of their own market with the Pixel 4 and Pixel 4 XL. It really should have debuted at maybe $649 USD for the base Pixel 4 and $749 for the XL. At that price, I bet this device would have sold gangbusters. Actually, if I was a betting man, that would definitely be something that I would bet on. I think Android 10 and the Pixel 4 could have been perfectly positioned to get some iPhone switchers due to the way the device feels and the way you interact with the smartphone within the UI. Face unlock and swipe gestures make a user that is and has been an iPhone user feel right at home, no doubt about it. Google missed a mark with the battery life though, on the regular Pixel 4 and even on the XL at sometimes. I've heard the terrible stories surrounding the regular Pixel 4 when it comes to battery life. There's something liberating when you're not worrying about battery percentage and if your phone will make it through the day. It's just, I feel free. Like I don't even look at battery percentages anymore. and the Pixel 4 is a step in the wrong direction in my opinion. I sometimes worry if the XL will get me through a day, especially on the days where I do a lot of podcast listening and YouTube watching. I barely make it to bedtime when I take my device off in the morning during a regular day. In today's market, that just can't be the case. And Google, please, if you can, resolve the battery issues in this Pixel 4 device now with a firmware update, or take note of this on the next Pixel device. If you want to learn more about the specs of this device, you can hit the card here and see the unboxing and first impression videos that I did. That's where you'll get all of that information because I didn't discuss it within this review. There you can get a pretty good idea of all the nerdy details of this device. If you're interested in pricing and availability, hit the links in the description. There I'll try to link you some, discounted pricing on this device, which I recommended to you earlier. Full disclosure on that those are my affiliate links. So shopping through those, I get a little bit of monetary kickback on those. When you make a purchase without it costing you anything in addition. It's just a way for you to support the channel and the content creation that occurs on this whole space. Well, that about does it for me in this one. If you like this video, please feel free to give me a thumbs up. If you didn't, you know what to do. Thank you for taking the time to watch. I'm Tomas, and I will catch you in the next one.